much, everybody. Welcome to the Ronnie Show. Well, it is officially that time. It is graduation week around here. It is so exciting. Well, one, content-wise, because you get 5 episodes this week. So that is nice. And, well, not only that, I get to graduate. So that's probably the second biggest part. Hold on, I was told to use the microphone here because I forgot my microphone that goes on my shirt. Okay. So, yeah, because usually, I use this when I walk out into the audience. So, yeah, so, my goodness. So, here's how this week is going to go in terms of, what we're going to be doing here on the Ronnie Show to celebrate. One, we have got a giveaway going on. Yes, so, we're splitting up these first 3 days into elementary, middle, and high school. So, I'm going to be telling a whole bunch of stories that I remember from way back when, and, yeah, so, however, though, you viewers at home, you guys, if you're an elementary school teacher or a school, or you know of an elementary teacher or school, then you could actually enter into a giveaway. We're going to be giving away $20,000 to, well, the teacher who we think deserves it, and $50,000 to the school who we think deserves it. Now, we can do it each night, well, for, tonight elementary, middle tomorrow night, and then high school Wednesday night. So, yeah, that's how the giveaway is going to work. And yeah, hopefully you all enter in, because that'll definitely be exciting. We're going to be doing, and then Friday, we're going to be doing a whole mountain of giveaways. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting around here. That is for sure. So, let's get into it right away, now that we've gotten all of that out of the way. Oh, yeah, so that'll be giveaway Friday, and then Saturday night, what we're going to do is that we're going to take a trip down memory lane. So I'm going to be taking you around to every single place of my life that has been important in my life, and where, I kind of grew up and stuff. So yeah, that'll be some really exciting stuff, I guess. So yeah, join us for that on Saturday night. The reason why I'll be doing that Saturday night instead of live streaming, because I'll be going to a whole bunch of graduation parties. So, I moved the NHL game to Thursday night, so now we'll do that, obviously. So, yeah, in fact, we're going to do NBA. Oh, how did we decide this? I think we're doing NBA Tuesday night. No, we switched it last night. So it'll be NHL Tuesday night, NBA Wednesday night, NHL Thursday night. So, yeah, and then we'll have the Ronnie Show preceding all those shows. So, there you go. That is kind of how the rest of the week is going to go. Friday, Saturday, going to be relatively quiet with just the Ronnie Show. And then Sunday, it'll just be, it won't be anything, because that'll be graduation day for me, and my party's being held on that day. So, we're not going to do much of anything for that. So, yeah, I think my earliest elementary school memory I have was the first day of kindergarten for me. I was at a new school, obviously, so, well, that might not be so obvious, but, yeah, I remember it just like it was yesterday. My parents, well, more specifically, my mom was crying. I was kind of crying, too, just normally like I would, and, I remember I went to my desk, and there was a coloring sheet on, and shut up! No, I'm kidding. It's just dogs being dogs, no problem there. And the only reason why I remember this so vividly is because there's a picture of it that my mom took, and I think I was coloring like an apple or something like that, because I think I had a red crayon in my hand, and I was kind of coloring it. So, yeah, that was my first ever kindergarten experience, I guess. So, yeah, that's kind of probably the earliest elementary school memory we had. Although something cool that we did in kindergarten was that my kindergarten teacher was and still is a season ticket holder for the Buskies. So it was kind of cool that we got that connection early on. And what they would do is that they would bring, well, I think when I was in kindergarten, it would only be like 3, maybe 4 at the most. Now it's like 5 or 6, so that definitely gets everybody on the team involved. But yeah, it would be the 3 or 4 players, and then it would be our front office lady at the time. Her name was Heather. It would be her, and I think the president at the time, Rich Zaber, would come in too. And of course, obviously, we all knew each other, so it was kind of like, hey, how you doing? You know, can't wait to see you Friday night. At least we know you'll be there. Because I think that was what they were trying to do. I mean, obviously, because I think there's actually a video when I was in kindergarten that the Musketeers posted of when they came into my class. I think it was Jared Thomas and Michael Holland. I think that was his name. I think that was their names. I remember Jared Thomas for sure. But they would come in and, you know, the video that they showed up, it was promoting reading is cool or something like that. So we all got bookmarks and they signed them. So I don't think that was the case for every single time they visited, but that was just the way it went. So yeah, that was kind of cool though, I'm not gonna lie, because, you know, even though I already knew who these guys were, you know, it was kind of cool to see them in a non-hockey setting, I guess. So yeah, that was really fun for sure. Anyway, we're going to take our first commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to go, well, kind of the rest of, well, what I remember from elementary school and blah, blah, dee, da, dee, da. When we come back, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, to the Ronnie Show. And something I pointed out, and that I'm going to point out now, is that these graduation episodes might be a little shorter than the regular episodes, just because, you know, it's going to be very dependent on what I remember all about school, I guess. So, yeah. That's basically, yeah, the other thing I was going to say, which I forgot to say in part 1. So, yeah, now, other than those 2 main stories, I don't remember anything much after that in kindergarten per se. Yeah, so I guess we'll move on to first grade. And first grade was definitely, well, I wouldn't say it was an interesting year, but well, I guess each year it got progressively more different than the last, because, you know, we started getting homework, well, in second grade, which I'll talk about a little later. But yeah, first grade, I really loved my teacher, to be honest. I mean, she was mean at times, which kind of annoyed me, but whatever. You know, I didn't have any bad experiences really with her. So, yeah, really the only story I can remember from first grade, well, I guess I'll point out kind of a couple of things. She had like a big Lego box. So there was like a whole box, wooden box. It was big, of like just Legos in it, and whenever we would have indoor recess, that was one of my favorite things to do, is to, you know, go and, you know, build something up, obviously, because I thought it was so cool in first grade. And then I remember she would kind of have it, and she would have us repeat it on the board, which was smart, honestly. But it said, you know, good morning, and she would always have us say it like that, which was kind of cringy at the time, but it had, you know, what we were going to do today in terms of like whether we were going to go to PE or if we had music or recess or something like that. So yeah, that I thought was kind of cool. And then I remember, I think it was either the day before school was out or it was like a couple of days beforehand, we were making some kind of project. I don't know what it was, but yeah, we're still doing this a day before school's out, 2 days before school's out. That's kind of nuts, but yeah. And I remember my one friend, and she's such a good friend of mine now, she, I guess, spilt glue, the glue bottle, and it went like all over the floor, and I remember she got yelled at. It was, and then, of course, you know, when a teacher yells at you, everybody just goes silent, obviously, because they're scared to death to say anything else. So, yeah, I don't know why I remember that story, especially, you know, if it didn't, you know, happen to me or anything like that, but I just do. So yeah, that was first. Oh, I remember we also, played with like shaving cream. Like she would like spray some out and then we get to like make whatever we want. That was kind of fun. I always loved doing that because I just thought it was so funny. Um, let's see. Second grade now. We'll kind of move on up. Second grade. Let's see. Well, like I said, that was the start of us getting homework, so that was nice. But I remember, it's kind of like, you know, well, in terms of homework, they weren't really strict about it. I'll just say that. They would allow you a couple of days to get something done if need be, you know. They were kind of willy-nilly on that. So, and I've noticed they've kind of done that in high school too. So, of course, I'll make sure we get that talked about during our high school show. But yeah, so they were at least my second grade teacher was kind of willy-nilly about when homework would be due and stuff like that. Which I guess was fine because I remember 2 days after, our assignment was signed, she would ask, oh, hey, you have this done, blah, 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 blah. No, we don't have that done. And then, let's see, oh, I almost forgot. In first grade, that was kind of the start of us having, like, student teachers for, like, a month. Well, no, not a month. Like, a couple of months, like 3 months, like a quarter of the school year. So, yeah, I really loved my first one. She was just, she was so awesome. Second grade, I liked her, but I didn't like her as much as my first grade one. I'll just say that. And I was just looking through because we were going back through old photos for my grad party. And I had honestly completely had forgotten about her until that I saw the picture of my class, and it was my, my regular second grade teacher, and then our student teacher from that year. So, and I believe both second grades had one. Both first grades didn't have one. We were just lucky that it had worked out that way, obviously. So, yeah, although now that I brought up the student teacher thing, it reminded me of something else. So one day they were mowing the lawn outside. It was, a nice fall day, nothing all that new. However, though, I don't know if something got caught up in the machine or, maybe the lawn guy took like a different route in terms of how he mowed it. So we weren't really prepared for, what happened next to happen. But all of a sudden, I think a rock or something might have gotten caught up in the engine or something like that. But it comes squealing by, and boy, it was way louder than a regular lawnmower. And my teacher was standing right next to the window, too. I don't think it was opened. But she was just like, she was, when something, how people, when you see people get scared, they go like that. I kind of did that, but I was more laughing with tears in my eyes than her, which her heart was, I'm sure, trying to stop from popping out of her chest. But yeah, it was kind of, and we weren't even, nobody was teaching anything. I think we were kind of off doing our own little thing when that happened. So yeah, that was kind of a funny moment. And then third grade. Third grade was probably my favorite year of elementary school. I loved my third grade teacher. She was just so the kindest person, the kindest soul of all time, because we would get candy every day. And it was like not like the brown Tootsie Rolls, but God, there's another name for them. They're like Tootsie, it's like the flavored Tootsie Rolls that are like red. The red's like watermelon, the green's like, I don't even remember. But there's like a blue and a purple and a pink type of thing. So, yeah. And then they introduced new flavors during that time. So we were always so excited when we would get the new flavors. Oh, third grade was so much fun. Let's see, what else can I remember from third grade? Oh, I remember we had Grandparents' Day, and my grandparents unfortunately couldn't come down that day. So instead of my grandparent, I had to have my mom because my third grade teacher had like a yellow rocking chair. So it was kind of, it was kind of funny to have that happen, but you know what? Whatever, right? So yeah, that's what I remember from 3rd grade, at least. Well, can I remember anything else? Surely something had to have happened. No, I don't think so. So now we move on to 4th grade. In 4th grade, I don't think I can remember anything that happened from 4th grade, which, you know, could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, whatever. Yeah, I don't think I remember much of anything from 4th grade, to be quite honest. Oh, 4th grade was the year that Donald Trump was elected to his first term, and the next day, because I was usually, well, I wouldn't say I was the last ones to show up, but, you know, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. But there was enough people in the room at the time where literally the whole board was filled with, you know, MAGA or yay Donald Trump, so on and so forth. So yeah, that was kind of interesting when I walked in, because I didn't expect, you know, 10-year-old us to, you know. Well, I guess we probably should have had a clue at the time, at least of who he was and what his policies were, because that's the point where, you know, we start getting social media and then we start paying attention to that sort of stuff. So, at least for me, because my first YouTube video was on June 13th, 2016. So, gosh, next year it would be 10 years. That is just craziness. I've brainstormed a few ideas, in terms of what I want to do for that. So yeah. Next year, be on the lookout for that. So yeah, that was 4th grade pretty much in a nutshell. Well, my teacher was gone a lot because her husband was dealing with cancer. As far as I know, he's, I don't know if he's completely cancer-free or what, but yeah, she was gone for a couple months of the year, so we had a substitute in for that, and you know, that was okay. I didn't mind it, but I do remember, though, in 4th grade, our one sub couldn't be there, or yeah, we only had one sub. We didn't have 2 subs in case, you know, the other sub was sick, the main sub was sick or anything like that. So I remember, and it was so interesting that I remember this now, because the sub for that day, was the day that I'm talking about, was my homeroom teacher that I have in high school right now. So it was just kind of funny. But I remember that day so thoroughly because it was the first day we ever learned how to add or subtract fractions. Ever. Like, you know, it was always whole numbers, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, so on and so forth. But I remember that day so well because, you know, like I said, it was the first day we ever learned how to do fractions. Not decimals. We didn't quite do decimals yet, but fractions, I really remember that, adding and subtracting. So, yeah, that was kind of elementary school in a nutshell. Wish I had more stories, but, you know, obviously I was still in single digits, well, up until 4th grade. And I'm saving 5th grade for the middle school talk just because they had actually moved when I was, I think, in 2nd grade, I want to say. It was either 2nd or 3rd grade. They actually moved 5th grade to the middle school. So, yeah. So that's why I'm saving 5th grade for middle school talk. So, yeah, thank you all. Well, no, we're not done yet. We're going to take a break and we'll be back. I don't know why I said thank you all so much for watching, but, excuse me. We'll take a break and we'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Schedule for the rest of the week. Tomorrow night it'll be game 4 of the Western Conference semifinals in the NHL between it'll be Winnipeg in Dallas. And then Wednesday night, I believe it's going to be Golden State at Minnesota, Game 5 of the Western Conference semifinals of that series. And then Thursday night, it'll be Game 5 of the Western Conference semifinals between the Dallas Stars and the Winnipeg Jets. So, yeah, we'll flip locations. So we'll be on the air Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, maybe 8:05, something like that. And then Wednesday night and Thursday night, those will both be 9:30 Eastern Time starts for both of those games. So Wednesday night will be on probably... We'll probably be on at about 9:40 Eastern Time because it'll probably tip off at like a quarter after, so... or a quarter before 10 Eastern, so yeah, we'll be on the air for that. And then, let's see, Thursday night we'll be on the air at 9:50 p.m. Eastern Time, just because, even though the game's scheduled to start at 9:30 Eastern Time, it won't start till about 9:52, which is kind of odd, but that's just the way doubleheaders work on network television. So, yeah, we'll take a break. We'll be back and wrap things up right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Well, what did we learn today? I think it's that you don't spill glue on the second to last day of school. We'll see you next time.
Closed captioning is brought to you in part by